Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the football podcast, and unfortunately, I have to break it to you, it is the last football podcast of the season. Obviously, we will be back next season with a pre-season podcast, but for now, this is it for the football podcast. Sad times. Before we start, please do consider like, share, subscribe, and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. Obviously, the big one, share the podcast around. If you have got football people in your life, football fans, anybody that loves the football, send this their way. There's plenty, there's 7 seasons of the football podcast to go back through, and there will be a new one coming soon. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the football podcast.
Well, welcome back on in, ladies and gentlemen, for what is the final CookieCast Podcast Network football podcast episode of the year/season. Definitely more season than year, because obviously there will be more in 2025. But for those of you joining us on YouTube, you're seeing a full complement of 4 happy, smiling faces staring back at you. Obviously myself, representing the Middlesbrough arm of the podcast, but we also have Mr. Stuart Woodmansey for the whole section. Mr. Matthew Moore wearing a wonderful Garibaldi-inspired 93-4 away shirt.
I should be able to. I should know, considering I had an extensive list after my parents cleared out their wardrobe. I think it's 93, 94, I think.
So I think this was back when you get 2 seasons out of a shirt as well. So it could be that it's 93 over to 95 potentially. But yeah,
93, 95, 93, 95. Because the one before that was the glorious purpley blue with the turquoisey sleeve.
Very
before.
nice.
But yeah, that was when it used to be 2 seasons for a shirt and alternate seasons as well. So you'd have a home kit one year that would last you 2 years. Then the following year, the away kit had had to come out, and that would last you 2 years as well. But yeah, none of that nowadays.
And much more importantly, that shirt would probably cost you no more than £40. So
I think
with printing, if you wanted it as well.
No, printing was never allowed in our house because obviously they used to charge by the letter and by the number. So it was always a case of I remember someone saying this on the Quickly Kevin podcast, that there was loads of Man City shirts kicking about with Vonk 4 and stuff like that, because it was always the cheapest stuff you can get printed. So yes, that is the Middlesbrough, Hull and Nottingham Forest, but back by popular demand. It is the head honcho of the entire network, Mr. Andrew Cook. How are you, sir? I'm assuming you've been watching all the football in preparation for this particular season wrap-up.
It's funny because I brought a little tidbit with me. I've been taking my son to his football sessions on a Sunday, and he's young. I don't think he really understands the concept of certain aspects of the game of football as it is, one of which is scoring goals. He works on the principle that the closer you are to the goal, the easier it is to score, even if that's standing in the back of the net. There's no sort of kicking around. I was like, man, I really need a way that I can sort of demonstrate to him what football looks like. So I was like, I've got a great idea. I'll break out FIFA. Now, might come as a surprise, but in this house, there are more than one FIFA games. However, current FIFA, not so much. So I put 2015's FIFA into the machine, got it loaded up. It did all of its installations. And I found an interesting team that I was able to pick from the Premier League in 2015. Yeah.
Definitely not us.
No.
It's got to be Hull.
Yes, if we wanted to support Hull in the Premier League in 2015, we absolutely could do that. I was like, the fuck is this? So yes, that was just a highlight of Sunday afternoon.
In fairness, Andy, I've been to the home games this season, and I've also been saying, "What the fuck is this?" So
Well,
it's
to be honest,
the one consistent point throughout the years.
well, I also got confused when Andy said something about the fact that apparently football's apparently based on scoring goals. I don't think that's the. I didn't think that seemed to be the case for the last sort of like 3 or 4 games of the Borough season.
Not
Well, I thought
not
as well when you said it was football coaching in York, I assumed it would go really well for the first 95% of the session, and then the coach would like shit themselves when it mattered at the fan. Oh no, sorry, that's York City. Sorry.
Yes, because
Yes,
that's the other fun thing about that version of the of FIFA, because you can pick to play as York City in that one. So I was like, yeah, let's be York City.
To make it incredibly difficult for him to play when he's first starting out.
Yeah, we didn't do too well. We did manage to beat Spurs 10-0 though, so
Not hard. Standard.
Yes. For those of you watching that are unfamiliar with the current goings on of the football sphere, York played their semi-final eliminator in the National League playoffs and lost 3-0 at home to Oldham, in spite of finishing about 25 points above them in the table. So, not ideal. Obviously, more people will now be familiar with the National League due to the Welcome to Wrexham documentary, no doubt. So, there you go. So, let's put a nice little bow on the final game of the season. I'm almost certain that Matt was hoping we weren't going to say that. So, we went into this, it was Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. We went into this knowing Forest had to win to ensure Champions League qualification, and even then, that might not be enough if the results went against them. Should we just rip the old plaster off? It didn't go to plan, did it?
Which one didn't? So the results the results elsewhere went perfectly their way. Absolutely bob on. Kind of Newcastle lost, wonderful. Villa lost, excellent. Everything was all in place for Forest to kind of get in there. And yeah, I think I've said it the last few times. They've just run out of steam. And I think for me, if they'd gone like and made that kind of, what do you call it? I mean, you call it like a business decision if you want, of do you go all out to win the FA Cup or do you go all out to get the Champions League? And they kind of didn't do either. Like, it's kind of like, well, they definitely didn't do either results based, but they didn't do either in terms of commitment to either one either. So then it's ended up that players were running on fumes. Anybody like to hazard a guess how many points Forest got from their last 4 home games?
I mean, the way you've set it up, it's clearly going to be 0, isn't it?
It's not 0.
Oh, fair enough.
1.
I thought it's like 1, but obviously not.
1 point. 1 point from 4 games. Let me have a quick look. I should have done this. See, I should have done my research because I was gonna bring this up all along. Home games against Chelsea, Leicester, Brentford, and Everton. So 3 of those games were eminently winnable. which should have rendered the game on Sunday absolutely pointless. Even if we would have drawn every single game, we would have been playing Champions League football, which is the most annoying thing. So yeah, obviously results went our way. Liverpool Villa just seemed to fall apart, kind of thing. Bad reffing decision or not. But we got you making that point. But I mean, it would be an insult to rugby to say that Martinez rugby tackled Højbjerg. It was more of a safety in the NFL, lighting up a wide receiver. I mean, like, talk about your head's gone. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous. And I suppose we talked about this, but I know we're talking about a completely different game, but I suppose it does have some kind of relevance to Forest. The fact of the matter is, obviously with VAR, the idea is you let play go on, but the referee blew his whistle because if he thought he kicked it out of his hands, it's a foul, so you blow your whistle. Villa can't, he's made a mistake. Villa can't really shout about that kind of thing. And as someone pointed out a while back, a few seasons ago, their keeper might have carried the ball over the line and it wasn't given, and they stayed up based on that. So swings and roundabouts in the biggest. So they're going, oh, hang on a minute, you owe us 100 million. Well, yeah, but you owe somebody else 100 million. So it all balances out. So fuck off. Obviously, Newcastle just lost. And then proceeded to celebrate and do a lap of honour like they'd won another trophy. But yes, so Forest, I think they started from. I listened to it on the radio. I didn't watch it. I just thought I can't. So I listened to it on the radio. They started well. They kind of flew out the blocks, tried to kind of really push the kind of thing, and then I think unfortunately what it is they just ran out of ideas. I think it's just it's just got to the point where it's a very limited squad. It's probably 16 deep at a push. Realistically, 14 players deep, like outfield players deep. You've got the starting kind of 10, adding Sells in as a keeper. Then you've got Yates, Morato, and then obviously he wasn't there, Awonyi. I think unfortunately Jota and Sosa are not good enough. But so kind of pushed on. Then not long after half time, Chelsea free kick, or breakdown from a free kick, ball whipped in. Colwill at the back tucks it into the back of the net. Again, going back to business decisions, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Maybe I still haven't quite kind of got over it and appreciate. I do appreciate how good the season is. But Marilla, I mean, obviously we kind of got to think about maybe what the team have been through with Taiwo as well. I think Murillo could have done a little bit more to possibly try and block that ball from going in. It looked like I don't want to fuck my leg up on the post kind of decision to, last day of the season, Champions League on the line. You'd hope that they were chucking themselves at that ball, and I feel like he perhaps could have done a little bit more.
I know what you mean, and watching it back, it definitely, if you watch the slow mo, it definitely like sort of his decision to sort of almost be like, well, that's it, almost give Colwill an extra chance to take a touch.
Yeah.
So like where normally he might have sort of thought that he had to go sort of like steaming in to try and sort of slide in to get the touch. He's seen that he's not gone for it, and that's given him that split second to reassess it, adjust himself, and then basically keep himself on his feet to just tap it in at the back stick rather than like go all out to try and throw everything at it. So I know what you mean there.
But yeah, I think I messaged you guys as well. I was watching Soccer Saturday or whatever it is, Gillette's soccer special, whatever it was. Merce was like, Forest could put 8 minutes. Forest could be playing for another 8 days, 8 weeks before they'd score. They're going to struggle next year, all that bullshit. And you kind of like, that was a bit, I found that a bit disingenuous. But I think, unfortunately, they have just run out of ideas. I think Chris Wood flying around the world to play for New Zealand's kind of caught up with him fitness wise. But yeah, so we had European qualifications sewn up a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And we kind of stuck with what we got at the time. So Conference League it is. I think the draw is on the 4th of August, 1st or 4th of August for the playoff. And the playoff will be played the 21st and 28th of August. So, I think kind of in my kind of rational kind of thing, the thought of, right, okay, the Conference League's a league that we could probably go and win. That means you get Europa League the year after. And if you do what Tottenham and Man United do, finish 17th, but qualify for Champions League. So, and cheer getting beat 4-1 by Brighton at home. So, yeah, a kind of bit of a disappointed end to the season, but a good season, which we'll look at in a minute. But yes, Levi Colwell.
Correct.
Yeah, 1-0 to Chelsea at the end. And we had to wait, Forest fans had to wait for Chelsea to stop celebrating on the pitch that they got Champions League before they could come on and do their lap of honour, which is a bit of a sickener.
Yeah, not the best way to end the season. But like you say, in the grand scheme of things, can't really be disappointed with a 7th place finish. But given what was on the table, and like you said there, especially when you assess the last 4 home games, like you said, like the Leicester one especially is just the most annoying. Like when they're already down, they're already a woefully low point tally.
The two for me are the Everton one, where they just didn't turn up, and they were shit right up until the Forest game, and then they were shit again till the Newcastle game, and like Forest should have benefited both times, but didn't.
Yeah.
That one and the Leicester one, and how smug Leicester fans have been about it, and you think, Christ Almighty, your season's been absolutely awful. But congratulations, you drew with Forest at home.
So, as we said before, just to tie everything up, put a nice little bow on the predictions for the season. So, like Matt said, a 1-0 Chelsea win with Colwell scoring the goal in the 50th minute. I can tell you now, no one had Colwell as their goal scorer, so no one gets a point for any goal scorers. Stuart gone for a 1-0 Forest win, no points there. Andy gone for a 2-0 Forest win, no points there. I'd gone for a 2-1 Forest win, no points there. But Mr. Moore knew he could see the writing on the wall, sadly, and had gone for a 3-1 Chelsea victory. So gets himself the 1 point and therefore the win for week 39. So congratulations, Mr. Moore. You've got the little silver lining to that particular dark cloud that ended the season. So congratulations. I didn't do a top up of who won the most over the season because I'll be honest, I forgot. So shame on me. Poor form. But what we have come to see is our season-long predictions and see if anyone got close or if anyone got anything bang on. So at the start of the year, obviously we went through the details of Borough, Forest and Hull ahead of the season. We went through Borough first because obviously they finished the lowest out of the 3 teams. I asked each one of us to pick a one to watch, and I'm quite happy with this one as I went for Thin as for the Borough. And I believe, if I look at my notes, it took a while to get going after joining in January, but towards the end of the season started to show glimpses of what he can bring to the table. Tipping him to get into double figures for both goals and assists. I'll take that, thank you, as I believe he ended the season on 11 goals and 10 assists.
Oh.
So, very nice. Very nice indeed. So, Middlesbrough season-long predictions. Andy had them to finish first. Stu had them to finish second. Myself and Matt both had them to finish fifth. They actually finished 10th, so me and Matt were the closest on that one. We all got shafted on who will be the top goal scorer, although technically we all picked Latte last. He got sold in January, and up until about the last 2 games of the season, he was still level with Tommy Conway on 11 goals. But Tommy Conway got 2 in the last 4 games to go on to 13
you, Tommy Conway,
for the season. So we were almost all correct, but apart from Tommy Conway just stole in at the last to take it off our heel.
if you're going to finish 10th, you could have at least done us the honour of just fucking it off for the last 2 games, so we got some points out of it at least.
Well, yeah, he didn't because he's slow. So there you go. So yes, sadly, no points for you'll finish Borough's top goal scorer. So we move to Hull next. They finished. Well, the one to watch. I'll let you just talk about this for a little bit because Stu's one to watch was Abdulkadir Omar. I'll leave you with that. I'll be back momentarily.
Yeah. So obviously, new manager came in. Tim Volter did an absolute number on the side by well documented grinding everybody into the ground. Omar, however, wasn't one of those players that he did that to because he wasn't there. He left not under a cloud. Well, if it was a very white pill and possibly sunshine breaking through a cloud compared to what happened to the rest of the side. I think it was more of a case of for him, his running mate had left, so. 'Cause obviously he was big mates with Ozan Tufan at the time. Just didn't really get settled. He didn't really get a run in the sides at all under Walter. I don't even think he was used. He wasn't used for any length of time in the even in the cup game when he first started. But yeah, not a great one to pick. What would be good is if we knew who everybody else had picked, because then mine might not seem so stupid. But Paul will obviously be back shortly to talk about
what picked in terms of goal scorers or
no,
Exactly.
picked in terms of the one to watch for Hull. But I think did we only do our own players?
we only picked one for our teams. I mean, we can.
I reckon next time round we need to just pick each other's as well. Like we'll abstain from it.
No,
Here's the transfer list for the season. Stick your pin in now, boys.
Yeah.
Because I say you could have done that with ours, and you'd have done. Actually, no, probably with the way the season went, you'd have probably have done equally as badly as picking Omar. Oh God!
Right,
And with that, he is back. Is he back? He is back.
Apologies, slight hiccup in the child department. Apologies. So I'll try and keep it down from my end. But yes, so I believe I can only presume that was an inspired pick by yourself that we went through there.
Oh no, you missed the final comment, Paul. It was next season we're going to pick them for each other. We're not going to pick our own. And what that's going to consist of is sticking a pin in a list from the transfer. And yeah, there we go.
Sounds like a terrible idea to me, but we'll see. So, Hull, season predictions. Andy was the most optimistic, had them in 8th. I was the next in the fact that I had them in 9th. At the half season mark, we did give each other the opportunity to revise the picks, so to speak. I did drop them to 14th in my pick then, and that still wasn't good enough, as both Stu and Matt had them to finish 16th, and as they finished 21st and stayed up on goal difference, I think we'll give the point. I don't even know if it goes down as a point there. to both Stu and Matt. Now, top goal scorer, not looking good. Joao Pedro was the top goal scorer with 6. I went for Omer. I've just put lol in my predictions as he didn't score all 6.
Oh, whoa. So wait a minute. So your parting shot there was, I'm just going to leave Stu to say how he absolutely shat the bed on his one to watch, and then you picked him to be top goal scorer anyway.
We don't discuss this. Listen, but he played okay against the Borough, and I obviously liked what I saw. What a fool! Stu had a TBD, and later changed that pick to Liam Miller. Fair enough. His season was curtailed by an ACL injury, but at the time of his injury, he had only scored 1. But when did he go out? Was it like October?
October, yeah, it was October.
So only a couple of months into the season, so we'll give him a bit of a pass there. Matt also had a TBD, but went for Mason Burstow. He did not get an ACL injury throughout the course of the season, and only managed to score 2 goals.
Yeah, in fairness though, he didn't really thrive under Volta, and then when Sellers came in, he became the impact sub, and even then wasn't necessarily first choice impact sub. So for a kid that we took from Chelsea on a permanent, his playing time hasn't exactly turned out as he would have hoped. So we'll see. We'll see if he even stays. He might get loaned out somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him trying to ply his trade elsewhere next season, shall we say. So technically, Andy wins this one as he was the guy with the closest pick. He did have Longman at the start of the season, but also that was to be concluded. Did he go on loan or did he just leave permanently in January?
Longman? No, he went. He went. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did he not go to Wrexham?
I was going to say, I know he's at Wrexham now, but I don't know if that was like a loan move. No, if he was somewhere else. Early doors.
He was a permanent. He went for the small league big dollar and obviously all the free gin he can drink.
So Andy had Longman, but changed his answer to Bedia, who got 3 for the season. So combined, our 3-2-1 totals up to João Pedro 6 for the season, which is kind of like, we all picked the top goal scorer. So yeah, so Andy was the closest with the Hull goal scorer. Now, can you remember who you'd picked, Matt, as your one to watch for Forest?
Sangare, I think.
Correct. He did pick Ibrahim Sangare.
So yeah, unfortunately, he had a similar kind of season to last season, and I kind of what I'd said is, oh yeah, after last season, oh getting injured, all that kind of thing. Yeah, same. I think I'm not taking a win here, but from reading reports and listening to kind of different things, he has started to come on in the last kind of 10 games, and I think he got player of the match against Chelsea, and they said that he did a real number on Fernandez and Cole. Like he was really kind of did well. Similar kind of deals with like the West Ham game and the Leicester game. He was that effective kind of number 6 that people wanted. But yeah, I can't take the win on that one because yeah, he's he's done 10 games out of 40. So, and in some of the other games where he's played, like in some of the cup games, he looked way off it, would be the kind of thing. So, I mean, maybe just get him in there ready for next season. Maybe he's next season's one to watch. But yeah, so yeah, kind of a slightly disappointing kind of one there, but hopefully moving on to next season, he will kind of continue in the form that he's got. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed. Obviously, there'll be more games for him to play next season because of the Conference League game. So the guaranteed 8 to start off with. But if they get into the later stages of the tournament, obviously, you will have more to play there.
Got to win the playoff first, though.
Sorry, yes, I had forgotten about that. They do have to actually win to get in to the actual league stage. So these long predictions for Forest, I was the least optimistic. I'd gone for 16th, Stu 15th, Matt 14th, Andy 12th. So Andy was the closest on that one. And the top scorer was Chris Wood, obviously, with 20 over the course of the season. Both myself and Matt had a 1 year. That's a bit harsh. Obviously, injuries curtailed a large portion of this season. Myself and Stu both had Callum Hudson-Odoi, who got 5. Did I say that a 1 year only got 2? I don't think I did I? Andy, Chris Wood. So nails it. Full boat there. Full points there for Mr. Cook. So that's all of the individual teams' predictions. We will take a very short break, and then when we come back, we'll go through our Championship and Premier League predictions, and then we'll probably just have a little wrap up right at the end before we leave. So don't touch that dial. We will be right back. Welcome back in. So, individual teams' predictions done and dusted. So we've now just got the Championship and the Premier League as a whole to go through. So, for the Championship, we were asked who'll win the league, who'll finish second, who'll win the playoffs, the 3 teams to go down, and the top goal scorer. Now, obviously, Leeds won the title, and they had gone with Middlesbrough to win the title. Doesn't happen. Matt went with Luton.
Reverse jinx.
Just to clarify,
I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it.
Given the fact that it was Luton who went down, I was going to say at Hull's expense. That's absolutely not what happened. But instead of Hull, is what I was supposed to say. Yes, sadly, Luton did not finish top. They finished a full 21 places below that.
Just move on to other things, though, because
we'll move swiftly on. Stu technically changed his pick at the halfway point, or at a later point that we decided in the season, and changed his pick to Burnley. But his original pick, as was mine, was Leeds United. So I have begrudgingly given him the point there.
Oh, hang on a minute here.
No?
Got changed. It got changed. It's wrong, isn't it?
Fair enough. I'll cross it off. The team finishing in second place, we had, obviously, which was Burnley. Sadly, none of us picked Burnley. Stu had Middlesbrough. Oh dear, that definitely didn't happen. Matt had Leeds. It was close, but it was out by a couple of points. I had Coventry. They finished 6th. Andy had Norwich, who were way off the pace, even more so than Borough, which was quite some going. So sadly, no points there. Who will win the playoffs? Mr. Moore now looking rather smug as he sits there. We'll come to that in a second. I had Borough win the playoffs. I'll never learn, will I?
Well, I mean, technically, they didn't lose in the playoffs.
No, very correct. Very correct. Stuart originally gone for Norwich, but halfway through changed his pick to Sunderland. Very nice. Matt is sitting there smug because from the start of the season, he had picked Sunderland to win the playoff. But I would like to give a little bit of a shout out here to Mr. Andrew Cook's pick, because despite not finishing in the playoff since 2008-9, 2007-8, I do apologise, his pick of Bristol City to win the playoffs now looks absolutely inspired as they finished 6th. Sorry, I had that Coventry finished 6th. Coventry actually finished 5th. And Bristol City finished 6th. So for the first time in 15 seasons, they actually got into, longer than that, 17 seasons. They actually got into the postseason and had a chance at winning the playoffs, which is
And
quite
got
incredible.
absolutely obliterated by Sheffield United.
I mean, we'll ignore the fact they lost 6-0 on aggregate, but that's not the point, is it? They got into the, they had a better chance of winning the playoffs than Borough did.
Is it? Do we call that did a York or did York do a Bristol City? Which way?
I mean, you might as well put this hand and this hand together because they both compete in the playoffs, and they both will be playing in the exact same division they played in this season. So they basically had the exact same result.
Wasn't that as well the biggest aggregate win at that stage ever?
Correct. Who was the last team to hold that particular mantle, Mr. Woodmansey? There he is. There he is. He wanted to get it in just for the crowd. But yeah, I felt Mr. Cook deserved a bit of a shout out there because I believe when we did the predictions at the start of the season, I believe I snorted with derision at his pick of Bristol City for the playoffs, and he's just started going, "Fuck you, no best."
I might kind of add to this. I think you also snorted at my Sunderland prediction as well. I think there was a double. Me and Mr. Cook our predictions were both besmirched by a certain Mr. Williams, who predicted.
Tell you what I'm talking about. I've always enjoyed those red and white striped scamps from up the road. Yeah, it does feel a little bit left. I feel like I'm a bit left out of the North East Premier League party for next season.
General success party.
Well, I saw that when they're discussing the Premier League teams that will probably get relegated next season, someone asked, if the promoted teams would be able to last. And the Newcastle fan said, I think they might last 3 seasons. Autumn, winter, and spring.
I heard that before somewhere, but
Lovely. So we move on to the 3 teams that will be relegated from the Championship. Surprisingly enough, no one did better than one here. Andy had Plymouth, correct. Oxford and Derby to go down. Just the Plymouth pick there. Matt had Plymouth, Oxford and QPR. Stu had Oxford and QPR. He later changed his QPR pick to Portsmouth. They didn't go down. And Plymouth. But I had the pick of the lot, ladies and gentlemen. I had Oxford, didn't go down. Derby, didn't go down. And Watford, didn't go down. So I managed to get all 3 of my picks incorrect. So, lovely stuff. One picked.
Derby were kind of close, and QPR were quite close earlier on in the season.
True. I think QPR put together a bit of a run around sort of January, February time where there was even talk of them being an outside shout for the playoff. I think it was like 17th or something like that. They were nowhere near it. Everyone had Oxford in their picks, and they finished comfortably clear of relegation, I think. Derby was probably a sensible choice, but
the Oxford
never
one
played out that way.
The Oxford one's a dirty one though, because it's Gary Rowett and the scumbag.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll go down next year.
They obviously shot themselves when the previous guy had hit a bit of a rut. Shipping 6 to the Borough probably didn't help his cause. Like you say, they brought in Gary Rowett. They basically just shut up shop and they shithoused their way to safety. I suppose is the easiest way.
Proceeded to grind out 1-0 wins here, there, and everywhere, didn't they?
Certainly seemed that way. So all's left is, did anyone pick the correct top goal scorer for the division? So obviously, we went in. I believe last season's top goal scorer was Sammy Schmoddix. Andy went with Sammy Schmoddix. He was then sold 1 game into the season, so we felt that was a bit unfair, and we gave him another go. So he went with Emmanuel Latella. Slightly further into the season. Stu was also bitten by that somewhat, as he had Latella as his goal scorer for the entire season. He repicked later in the season, went for Gustavo Hamer, who I believe I had written down in my notes. I've had 10 for the season. Matt pick of Elijah Adebayo at Luton Town does not look like it paid off, as he had 5 goals for the season and his team was relegated.
Pretty much.
My pick was just as good, though, as Andy's and Stu's, as I had Jorginho Rutter. He didn't even start the season, so he was sold to Brighton. So he didn't even get as many as Smotrich did. So well played by Mr. Williams. I think I changed my pick in the end to Ellis Sims of Coventry City, who got 6. Not ideal. No one obviously got close with Joel Puros at 19. I think that was actually the lowest top goal scorer, as it were, in something like 15 or 16 seasons. So it's the first time someone's not got 20 at least in a long time.
We can all just take a little moment there as well to smile that he got 19 this season, but let's face it, he'll do his usual and shit himself in the Premier League.
I don't even think he'll go to the Premier League. Yeah, I dare say, honestly, he's the sort of person that if it ends up being a decent enough deal, we might see him at one of our clubs, to be honest with you.
Not at mine.
Not yours, obviously.
No.
Because, why would
All right,
you
man,
do that?
chill out.
Maybe in a couple of seasons if it goes really bad.
If the Conference League take too much of a toll, then, disaster could strike. So that's the Championship done and dusted. We just have the Premier League season to go through. So, again, we were asked who won the league, who were the other 3 teams that make up the top 4, the 3 teams to go down, and of course the top goal scorer. So, I was the only person who didn't pick Man City to win the league. That obviously means points are coming my way. No, I went for Arsenal.
Should know better now, Paul. Come on.
Second. Always. Just straight in. Next season, put him in. Second.
Exactly. Second. Just it's that thing of like, it's too early to predict Premier League season yet down to 17th, and you just said Tottenham. But no point for who won the league, as no one had Liverpool, because why would they? The other 3 teams to make up the top 4, again, the best anyone did here was 2 out of 4. I'll leave mine to the end, as I believe people might have a good old chuckle at my 4 teams. So Stu had Arsenal, Liverpool, and Aston Villa. But only missed out on Villa. Matt had Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United. Ooh, they did. Andy had Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man United. So, slightly unfortunate there. I had Man City finish second, and then a Tottenham Man United double for third and fourth. Ooh, that couldn't have gone much worse. The 3 teams to go down, someone got a clean sweep on this. It wasn't me, as I had Southampton, Ipswich, and Brighton to go down. Matt had Ipswich, Southampton, and Wolves to go down. Andy had Southampton, Ipswich, and Brentford to go down. So Matt missed out on Wolves, Andy on Brentford, me on Brighton. But Stu had left Ipswich and Southampton. Well played. Is it safe to say that I can just pencil you it was all in now for Sunderland, Burnley, and Leeds?
No, I'll be making my annual Wolves pick, because I will predict that till they go down.
It's a good point. Good point. And then, of course, the top goal scorer pick. I was the only one who didn't pick Haaland with his 22 for the season. Engage smug mode. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Bukayo Saka with his 6 goals. Basically making me look like an absolute dunce. Yeah, so that puts a nice little bow on it. No one got everything correct. There was some decent shouts there. Like I say, the Sunderland to win the playoff pick was pretty good. Andy Bristol City to even make the playoffs was inspired. But yeah, that puts a nice little bow on our season-long prediction. So before we end, is there anything else anyone else would like to bring to put an end to the football podcast for another season? obviously, congratulations to Forest for making it back into Europe for the first time since 95.
Let me check. They put a very nice little post up on there of the things. Should have see if I can find them. Dead interesting. Oh Christ! I didn't realise the Chelsea score was that. They had record. Here you go. So here's the Forest record break in 2025. So on the 14th of September, Forest beat Liverpool at Anfield for the first time in 55 years. The 7th of December, they beat They beat Man United at Old Trafford for the first time in 30 years. 1st of February. So these are all records ish. Forest beat Brighton 7-0. That was the club's biggest win in 34 years, biggest league win. These ones always make me laugh. The 8th of March 2025, Forest beat Man City for the first time in 27 years. Considering most of that time we weren't in the same division as them. Okay, then. Then we played an FA Cup final for the first time since 1991. So 34 years. And then a collection of first win at the London Stadium, first win at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, first win at the G-Tech Stadium. Now, sounds impressive, but also these are all very new stadiums. So that's kind of like a little sneaky one in the end there. And yeah, so the first time, so qualified for the Conference League. It's the first time we played European competition since 95-96 when they were in the old kind of UEFA Cup kind of thing. Yeah, and then all the other stuff is obviously the women's team won their league. They won the League Cup as well, and the B team, the men's B team, won some Premier League International Cup. God knows what that is, but yeah. So obviously in England, first England call up in 30 years or something like that as well. So, or just
So
over
I'm
30.
assuming that'd have been Pierce, I'm guessing.
Steve Stone.
Steve Stone, that'd have been it.
Steve Stone.
No, there is a Premier League sticker book blast from the past.
Oh, yes. Big Stevie with his big bald head. Yeah, I'd actually forgotten that. I never brought this up at the time, but whilst Forest ladies team got promoted out of the division they were in, Middlesbrough will take one of their places as the Middlesbrough ladies team got promoted into the division that Forest just won. So that was a little bit of a positive silver lining on the turd that was. We've rolled that turd of the Borough season into a little bit of glitter to put a little bit of shine onto it.
Whilst we're talking about how well the ladies' teams are going, Hull City's ladies' team, not owned by the same people, folded this season, and the one of the former owners is now currently being investigated for fraud, according to the local paper.
Wonderful.
I'd actually seen a YouTube video on that exact sort of story, actually, because they said that they're not officially affiliated with the club, I think, but they just carry the name of the Hull City Ladies.
Yeah, they carry the team colours, they carry the name, they are known as the Tigresses, but
oh no,
now they're not known at all. It's a shame, really.
I think he was saying as well that because of the way that the actual teams are owned, they can't just disband and then if the club wanted to take over like the ownership of the women's team, they can do that, but they would have to basically start in the lowest possible sort of like tier to start back up again, which is obviously creates its own problems and prize money and abilities to sort of pay players. Well, I suppose paying your players is completely at the discretion of the owner. But yeah, sad that.
There was one other thing for Forest was they were the first team to double their points the season after the kind of thing. So obviously, yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, well, it's obviously they only just stayed up in 17th space the previous season, didn't they? So I think the fact that they'd surpassed their point tally by like mid-January or something like that was
Oh
always
God, yeah, well,
positive.
yeah.
Yeah, so there you have it. Another season done and dusted, wrapped up with a lovely multicoloured bow of mainly red, because that was the only colour that had any sort of positivity this season. There was certainly no amber and black or Teesside red of positivity this season in the footballing sphere. But didn't even have the joy of a League Cup run where they got within one game of a Wembley final to look forward to. Sadly, so yeah, it's probably best that we put football in a nice little box, send it off to the side, and forget about it for the next couple of months until we'll start up again with next season's preview and prediction podcast. But as always, all that's left for me to do is the thank you. So thank you to these three wonderful gentlemen for joining us throughout the season to go through the trials and tribulations of Middlesbrough, Hull, and Nottingham Forest. Thank you to you, the listeners, the watchers, the subscribers. If you add you around here and you liked what you saw, think about subscribe to the channel. We've got lots to go through. There's Formula One podcast. There's not American football podcast starting up again in a couple of months' time. There's the Darkest Timeline podcast that Mr. Cook runs himself. All very worth your time. So thank you very much. That's us done, dusted for the season. We'll see you in a couple of months' time. But until then, keep listening, keep watching, and we will see you in August. Tatty bye for now.
So there we go. That's it for this season. Poof. It's been a long one. Been a long season. Ups and downs. Some highs, some lows. But we all came through it together. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Like I've said in the past, doesn't mean the end. You can go back and listen to 7 seasons worth of the football podcast. You can listen to any of the podcasts. Watch them on YouTube. Any of that. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button. And that way you can get in touch with us. That is very much it for this one. But like I say, we'll be back in the new season. Until then, I want to say bye. And I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to these grumpy old men talk about football. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe.